بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Hadith أمس من حفظه. This is hadith number 13 from yesterday. All right, you got it?
Yeah.
Stand up.
عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه قال عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الدنيا
عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم
عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الدنيا حلوة خضرة وإن الله مستخلفكم فيها فينظر كيف تعملون فاتقوا الدنيا واتقوا النساء فإن أول فتنة بني إسرائيل كانت في النساء. رواه مسلم.
تمام. عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الدنيا حلوة فاتقوا الدنيا. رواه أبو الحسين. أبو الحسين من هو؟ Don't know أبو الحسين. مسلم بن حجاج بن مسلم القشيري النيسابوري. رواه مسلم. من حافظ الحديث. You know I'm looking over at you. No.
Your students first to go first.
They went first. My son, my prize student, alhamdulillah, you barak alayhi wa yazidu ilman. Come on, you ready? Stand up.
أبي سعيد الخدري قال رسول الله صلى الله
رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال.
نعم. عن النبي قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الدنيا حلوة خضرة وإن الله مستخلفكم فيها فينظر كيف تعملون فاتقوا الدنيا واتقوا النساء فإن فتنة بنو إسرائيل
أول
فتنة بني إسرائيل كانت في النساء.
رواه
أبي سعيد الخدري.
No. من أخرجه؟
صحيح مسلم.
أحسنت. تمام. Anybody else? Who else was here yesterday? Oh no. What are you looking in the back for? You were here. What's your name, Akhi?
زاهي.
No, this brother. What's your name? أبو بكر. حياك الله. أنت حفظت الحديث؟
نعم إن شاء الله.
حياك الله. قم.
عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الدنيا حلوة خضرة وإن الله مستخلفكم فيها فينظر كيف تعملون فاتقوا الدنيا واتقوا النساء فإن أول فتنة بني إسرائيل كانت في النساء. رواه مسلم.
See, you guys, you're messing up. It's حلوة. حلوة is لهجة يمنية. ما شاء الله حلوة. حلوة لهجة. حلوة خضرة وإن الله مستخلفكم فيها. Alright, so حلوة يعني حلوة الناس مسمية. حلوة خضرة. What does this mean?
حلوة المذاق وخضرة يعني للمنظر.
Alright, so but what is المعنى الإجمالي here? Like the whole meaning.
الإجمالي أنه طعمها ومنظرها جيد يعني.
What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in Surah Al-Imran? زين للناس حب الشهوات من النساء والبنين والقناطير المقنطرة من الذهب والفضة والخيل المسومة والأنعام والحرث ذلك متاع الحياة الدنيا. That's it. So all of these things from the Hayat al-Dunya have been made like what? مزينة لكم. That they've been made like, beautiful and tempting and enticing to you. So when he mentioned all this, he mentioned women, he mentioned children, he mentioned wealth, he mentioned horses, which nowadays, like we see with the people with the cars and things like this. And he said, what? And then after this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, what? ذَلِكَ مَتَاعٌ. Huh? What's up?
Go away. You thought you had something you did,
Yeah, wallah, sahih. Yes, you're right. You thought you had something? Because these are the things that you're going to take with you into the grave. But then he said, ذَلِكَ مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. These are just possessions of this world. Wallahu indahu ish. Husnul ma'ab. Like the greatest of all returns is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what's the hadith about the three things that we take with us to the grave and the one thing that stays? Who's got the hadith memorized?
Your good deeds.
Allah Abdul Malik, I love you for the sake of Allah. Wallah. Wallah yashhad. Allah يبارك فيك.
إذا مات ابن آدم انقطع عنه ثلاث.
حياكم. You got it. All right, what is it?
أيوة صدقة جارية.
No, يعني إلا من إحدى ثلاث.
إلا من ثلاث.
Oh, these are the three things that benefit him. But what are the three things that are going to go with him to the grave? And what is the one thing that stays? يتبع الميت ثلاثة.
ابن آدم ثلاثة.
Yes.
يتبعه أهله وماله.
وعمله. There you go.
نعم. فيرجع ماله وأهله.
Yes.
ويبقى عمله.
Exactly. Now translate that for the people.
Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when the son of Adam dies, three things will follow him: his money, which is his wealth, and his family, and his deeds. Two things will go back, and one thing will stay with him. The two things that will go back is his wealth and his family. They will leave him in his grave, and only his deeds will stay with him.
So there you go. The things that were enticing you in this world, they stay. Just like Abdul Malik said, right? But the one thing that you're going to take in your grave is what? Your actions. He said, وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ مُسْتَخْلِفَكُمْ فِيهَا. مُسْتَخْلِفَكُمْ فِيهَا, what do we say the meaning of this is?
Repeat it. Can you repeat it?
مُسْتَخْلِفَكُمْ فِيهَا.
Put you in charge. Put you in charge.
You said this yesterday.
Yeah, if I can elaborate, والاستخلاف هنا هو يجعلك مسؤولا ومستخلف بين أهلك وبين.
No. خلف وخلف من بعدهم. Finish that. وخلف من بعدهم what? فخلف من بعدهم. Sorry. فخلف من بعدهم قوم أضاعوا الصلاة. خلفهم. Sorry. وأضاعوا الصلاة واتبعوا الشهوات. All right. So what does this mean? خلف?
To make you a successor.
Yeah, تبعهم جاء من بعده. So when we say like, يستخلفكم فيها, it means أن يجعلكم what? خلفاء بعضكم لبعض, أن تخلفوا بعضكم بعضا. That means that you have a generation, and this generation will succeed this generation and this generation until the day of judgment. The Bani Adam will never come to an end until the last days. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cause everything to die. So this is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that He made Adam a Khalifa, and He يخلف بعضكم بعضا. جيل بعد جيل. قرن بعد قرن. So we have a generation after generation. So this has nothing to do with the Khalifa as far as the meaning of Islam. Like this is the ma'na al-shar'i. But what we're dealing with here is the ma'na al-lughawi. So the istikhlaf means that He's going to make you where you're going generation after generation, and century after century, generation after generation, children, and then your children are going to have children, and you're going to continue. So مستخلفكم فيها فلينظروا كيف تعملون. All right, so فينظر what? So He's testing you with this dunya for what purpose?
Allah will test you.
For what purpose? What did we say yesterday from the ayah from Surah Al-Aqabah?
Allah will test you to see your faith, to see your faith and your sidq.
Alif Lam Mim, finish it. حسب الناس ولقد فتنا الذين من قبلهم فليعلمن الله الذين صدقوا وليعلمن الكاذبين. So who are the صادقين?
الذين صدقوا الله بأعمالهم وأقوالهم.
Yes, okay, so the people who, like they say, they came into Islam, ثم استقاموا. So what do we talk about? You're saying that you're a Muslim, but your behavior is not the behavior of Islam. Your actions are not the actions of Islam. Your speech is not the speech of a Muslim. So are you sadiq? No, of course not. You're not honest with yourself. And you're not honest by saying that you're a Muslim. You are a Muslim as far as the basic terminology of you entering into Islam, saying Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, but you're not sadiq in the fact that you haven't fulfilled the lawazim. So when we say La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, what? There's conditions, there's shurut, right? And there's lawazim. So from amongst, you have the 7 shurut that everybody should know, inshallah, which we've gone over, but we're going to go over that in the Surah Al-Thalath, inshallah. to, what is it, tomorrow, Mujahid? Tomorrow's Rasul Thalatha, right? Tomorrow's Wednesday, okay, so Thursday. So on Thursday we'll have that class. We'll go over those conditions, inshallah. But you have the wazn, which means that you just can't say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah and you disobey Allah and you act contrary to the sunnah. So have you fulfilled the lawazim of saying La ilaha illallah? Lawazim, it means requirements. It's requirements. Have you fulfilled them? You say La ilaha illallah, but you disobey Allah. You say Muhammad Rasulullah, but you don't care about following the sunnah. So have you fulfilled those requirements? Are you from the Sadiqeen or the Kadhibeen? Exactly. So this is what we need to take account of ourselves when we talked about in the last class, which you guys weren't here in the last class, but it's about taking account of oneself. Making sure that if we're saying that we're La ilaha illallah, that we're obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What did Imam Shafi'i say in the poem yesterday? Does anybody remember the poem I told you yesterday? I kind of messed it up yesterday because my mind was jumbled, but I'll get it right today, inshallah. تعصي الإله وإيش وتزعم حبه. You disobey Allah, but you claim that you love Him. هذا محال في القياس بديع. That this is an impossibility of a deduction. This is an impossibility in you deducing this, that your disobedience shows love for somebody. This is impossible. He said, لو كان حبك صادقا لأطعته. If your love for Him was truthful, you would have obeyed Him. فإن المحب لمن يحبه what? مطيع. So the one who loves is to the one that he loves, obedient. So your obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it shows your love for Him. And your obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows your honesty and and you're saying La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. How are you going to say Muhammadur Rasulullah? And then you got this ayah, وَمَن يُشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولِ مِن بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْهُدَى وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى وَنُصْلِهِ جَهَنَّمَ وَسَاءَ مَصِيرًا. So now you fall into this type of ayah, where here, مَن يُشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولِ. What does this mean? يُشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولِ.
Whoever opposes the messenger.
And what's the biggest opposition that you know that this is the sunnah and you act opposite to it? Or you reject it outright? What is a bigger opposition to the sunnah and to the messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam than this? وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And who follows other than the path of who? The mu'mineen, which are the sahaba. Like their understanding of the deen, because they took that deen safi, a pure understanding of the religion from the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So whoever does this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى. And what does this mean?
We will leave him to which he has put up.
Yeah, whatever you chose, that path you chose, we're going to leave you to that path. That's the path you wanted, take it, keep it. Then what did he say after that? You're going to burn them up in the hellfire. وَسَاءَ مَصِيرًا. Yeah, سَاءَ مَصِيرًا. Yeah, so, what an evil return. So this is, these are things that we need to work on. But now let's get to hadith number 14, inshallah. So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ask Allah for these things. All right, so this hadith is on Ibn Mas'ud, radiyallahu anhuma, radiyallahu anhu. عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يقول اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. رواه مسلم. So here Allah that's not Allah Ibn Mas'ud, he reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, he said, oh Allah, Allahumma inni as'aluka al-huda. All right, huda, what? All right, so I ask you for guidance. All right, what tuqa? What tuqa is what? Yeah, but tuqa is another word for what? Not taqwa. Yeah, it's another word for taqwa. And what do we say that taqwa is?
It's a shield. I'm not going to say that.
I mean, that's correct. But the actual meaning comes from al-wiqaya. Al-wiqaya is what?
Shield.
A shield or something that blocks you and protects you, right? So what are you trying to protect yourself from?
The punishment of Allah.
And how are you going to protect yourself from the punishment of Allah?
By doing His commandments and staying away from His prohibitions.
Yeah, doing what He told you to do and staying away from what He told you to stay away from. So that's taqwa. What did Abu Hurairah mention about taqwa? Anybody know? When he said about walking on the path of the thorns, does anybody know that one?
Oh yeah, I heard about it.
Hey, you heard about it from me, I think. I told you I love you for the sake of Allah. And I'm truthful. I'm very truthful.
find a path of thorns, you either walk.
Well, he asked the guy. He said, if you ever go down a path of thorns, what do you do? How do you negotiate? Like, how do you navigate through these thorns? And what did he say?
He said you walk through them very carefully, or you find another way,
Or
you stay away from them.
yeah, so you got three ways. If you have to go through the path, you have no choice. Then how do you walk? You walk carefully, making sure that you're not going to step on these thorns. Because, obviously in the Middle East, who's from Yemen? All right, you guys are from Yemen. Who actually lived in Yemen? Put your hand up. All right, you know the sidr tree, right? Shajarat al-sidr, you know it. You know the thorns of the sidr tree. Who's ever stepped on them before?
I have.
And how does it feel? It makes you rethink your whole foot's existence, doesn't it? Because the thorns are like that big, and they go right through your shoe. And if you're wearing sandals, I had sandals from America. I'm thinking these sandals are going to last me forever. But I stepped on one thorn of the cedar tree, and it cracked the sandal in half. And the thorn went right through my foot. So this is how they, when you have, but you can't avoid this because there's so many of these trees, and the thorns are just all over the place. So he said, if you have to walk through this area, what do? You walk very carefully, trying to avoid. You're not going to walk, heedlessly, just like most of the people do, because they don't have taqwa. So when they go through the dunya, what do? Just heedless. I don't care where I'm at. You go anywhere. Mixing with girls, listening to music, doesn't matter what. There's no conditions of where he's going to go. Just heedless. But you're careful. You're focusing on making sure, trying to stay away from these things that you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made haram. Or he does what? If he can go around it. Like, just avoid going through it, and he'll try to go around it. If he can't, if none of these two are possible solutions, what? Just like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going back. Just avoid it altogether and just return. Don't even go down that path. That's taqwa. So whenever you see disobedience out in the streets, you have to go through it. You navigate it carefully with taqwa, with remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have to, if you can't avoid to go around, just to go around it, what? You go around it. But if there's no need to go to these places, that you know that's going to be a fitna for you, what do?
Stay home.
Stay home. Stay in the masjid. Stay in the place that you feel safe. And that's your taqwa, because your obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is way more important than getting something from some place that might cause your destruction. So he said after that, he said, وَالتَّقَى وَالْعَفَافِ. وَالْعَفَافِ al-affa. And what is this?
Chastity.
It can mean like afa as far as you're dealing with women. That like a mar'a and afifa. That means what? She's like shy. She keeps herself covered, and she keeps the manners of a Muslim woman. And also the man is afif. He doesn't run around flirting up women, getting phone numbers and all that. He does everything according to what? According to the deen. He protects himself from falling into zina. Protects himself from anything that even get close to that. But also, afa can also be with what?
Decency.
No, this is with as far as morals, right? But it can also be with what?
Money.
With money. That you don't, you're not out to you have this love for wealth that causes you to just no, you're shy. And even if you have a need, even if you're in need of money, that shyness will what? Will stop you from even asking the people. You would rather die of hunger, die of starving, whatever, than have to go and ask the people for money. So this is also an ifa. And this is what we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have. And he said, وَالْغِنَى وَالْغِنَى وَمَنْ يَسْتَغْنِي what? يُغْنِهِ اللَّهِ. All right, when يستغني عن ايش؟ عن الدنيا وعن الناس. All right, so we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala huwa al-ghani. All the wealth and all the riches, they come from who? Allah, not from the people. They don't come from the people. So we don't search for these things with who?
The people.
We know with the people. We know that our risk, where does it come from?
Allah.
And even this is one thing that even the kuffar of Quraysh, the mushrikun, did they have an issue with this?
No.
What's the ayah? Oh, somebody give it. No, but I'm talking about the risk.
The risk.
مَنْ يَرْزُقُكُم مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ. I can't even remember because my mind's all like long stuff. من يرزقكم من السماء والأرض أمن يملك الحي والميت ومن يخرج الحي من الميت. Okay, so the point is that they even understood that their risk and everything, it comes from what? From Allah. So what are we worse than the mushrikeen and the kuffar? So and this is the reason why with this is the risk, the ihya, the khalq, and all of these things. These are all from Allah's what? No, it's from His rububiyyah, from His lordship, right? So did the kuffar Quraysh have issues with a lot of these things? No, they knew that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who al-khaliq, al-raziq, al-muhi, al-mumit. All right, but where did that fork in the road hit? Yes. What was? Huh? Yeah, when they were commanded to what? Only worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, that He was the only one that had the right to be worshipped. That's where now the split occurred. So us now, we're having even problems with our own what? With the rububiyyah, which the kuffar of Quraysh didn't have, because we think that the money comes from the people. And then we lose our iffah, we lose our shyness, and we lose everything. And then we start to rely on the people. And then what did Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, he narrated from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which the hadith is probably coming up, like either the next one or one after this. He says, سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول لو أنكم تتوكلون على الله حق توكله لرزقكم كما يرزق الطير تغدو خماصا وتروح بطانا. All right, so here the Prophet ﷺ said, if only you put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will provide for you, but He said, حَقَّ تَوَكَّلِهِ, which means what?
How He's supposed to be.
Yeah, in a way that He deserves to have His trust be placed in, that you're giving Him all of your trust. All of your trust you place in Allah. لَرَزَقَكُمْ كَمَا يَرْزُقُ الطَّيْرِ, that He will provide for you just like He provides for the bird. And He تَغْدُو خِمَاصًا, he goes out, the bird flies out of the nest in the early part of the day on an empty stomach. وَتَرُوهُ بِطَانًا, and then it comes in the later part of the day with what? Yeah. Our risk does not come from the people. And this is where we say that we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-afaf wal-ghina. Al-ghina an al-nas. Al-ghina an al-dunya. Because wallahi, you know, this going around to the people and relying on the people, what does it make you?
Slave.
Makes you a slave to the people. And what did the Prophet ﷺ say? Ta'isa abdul dinar, wa ta'isa abdul dirham, wa abdul khamisa, and u'tiya what? Radi, wa lam yu'ta sakhat. You know, so the curse, what he said, ta'isa, may be destroyed. Ta'isa is halaka, means to be destroyed. So let the person, let the slave of the dinar be destroyed, and let the slave of the dirham be destroyed. And then he said the slave of the khamisa. What is a khamisa? It's a fine, silky type of material. So it's showing like, you know, he's not just talking about money, he's also talking about the possessions. He said, well, Abdul Khamisa. If he's given something, he's what? He's happy. He's the happiest man today. You put money in his hand and he's smiling all over the place. When lam yu'ta what? Yeah, sakhat. He's all over. He's all angry now. And then what did he say after that? He said, ta'isa wa intakas. And what does this mean? Ta'isa, may he be destroyed. When takas, may everything that he worked for go back, and may he revert back to like whatever. So if he was poor, let's send him back to poverty. If his business was doing well, send him back to the way that he was struggling before. And he said, وَإِذَا شِيكَ فَلَنْ تَقَشْ. What does this mean? We're just talking about the thorns. Come on, man. He said, إِذَا شِيكَ, from shoka. If a thorn gets put, if it goes into his foot, فَلَنْ تَقَشْ, may he not be able to what? To extract it. That's a serious dua, because he put his trust in the people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hu al-ghani. And just like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, man yastaghni, yughnihi Allah. You go back and you return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide for us, you know, more than we could ever imagine. And what's the ayah? Man yattaqillaha what? Alright, if you have that fear of Allah and you do the commands and stay away from the prohibitions, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make a way out for you and provide for you in ways that you never ever ever imagined. Any questions? Nothing.